I have so many questions that basically just boil down to where are you at with Patrick Williams. So I'm trying to see if we can boil them down to like 4 rapid fire-ish sub questions.
All
The
right.
first one is what impressed you the most about his development last season?
Probably, I mean, he has become much better defensively. And then probably I am impressed that the 3-point shot has kind of held up. He's still kind of in a situation where I don't really trust him shooting threes because he just does not seem confident shooting them. But like he shot 40 some percent. So like I did not think that was going to hold up on higher volume, and it did. Um, so it's probably that and the fact that like he's a legit like pretty solid 3-and-D player.
Mhm.
Again, like the problem is the other stuff and actually becoming like a big time high impact player. But in terms of the defense, yeah, it's gotten a lot better. It's been impressive. The 3-point shooting has stayed strong with higher volume. It's just like then taking that next step after that.
What are you watching most closely for? And I'm assuming it's offensive related as he goes
Yeah.
into year 4.
Yeah, I mean, again, the big thing is just what the aggressiveness, consistent aggressiveness, and like it's almost cliche at this point. And it is, I do get how it's tough, and like you're a young player, you're playing with DeMar, Zach, and Vooch, and you just like feel like you need to take the back seat. But at some point, like whatever, you're in year 4 now, man. Like you need to start whatever, grab the bull by the horns, and like just consistently have that more aggressive mindset um, as an offensive player. And who knows about? We'll see what type of if they give him more opportunities on the ball. I know so many fans have clamored, run more pick and rolls for him. Blah 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 blah. I mean, even if they don't do that, there are times where he can just be more aggressive. The 3-point shooting, don't pass up 3-point shots. If the guys are attacking on closeouts, drive hard to the basket and get more aggressive there. Be more aggressive attacking the offensive glass. I mentioned the Bulls just like they're not great getting extra opportunities. There are like random times where he just goes crazy on the offensive glass and like throws on a putback dunk. Would love to see more of that. You can get some dirty points that way. Like he's a pretty big dude, 6'7", 6'8", strong. Like you should be able to do some of that dirty work inside, more cutting, stuff like that. So like it's not necessarily just like here we need to give Patrick Williams the ball and like people get out of the way or like run more pick and rolls. Like, that's just not gonna happen. But like there are ways where he can be more aggressive offensively, choosing the spots, not being passive when it comes to turning down shots and getting better. Besides that, though, he also needs to get better at rebounding in general. Like I mentioned, he can occasionally be just like a sick offensive rebounder with putbacks, but you look at his overall rebounding numbers and they stink. They're not good
Right.
for like what they should be. So like some of it is like whatever. He's guarding guys on the perimeter. He's not always in the best spot for rebounds, but uh like if you're that size in the NBA with like pretty good athleticism, like you should be grabbing more than 3 or 4 rebounds a game. You just need to. So like would love to see him get better on the glass as well. Like I don't know if he's ever going to be like a big playmaking guy. I know there was like all the stuff coming in the league. Oh, he played some point guard like in high school. Like I just don't know that that's ever really going to be there for him. But uh, whatever. He's just consistently like been around the same like base numbers like all 3 years, like 9-10 points a game, 4 or 5 rebounds a game. He'll get like a steal or a block a game, and like maybe an assist or two. And that said, like I would love to get that up to like 15-7, 15-8. Maybe a couple assists per game, get a couple stocks per game. Like that would be great. And just that's just a matter of I think just being consistently a bit more aggressive all over the court. And that would definitely help the Bulls like just take another step forward because I mean because of where they're with the main guys that they have, the core they have, like we know what Zach is, we know what DeMar, we know what Vooch is. Like they don't just have that much more upward mobility on this roster. He is one of the few guys. Like if he
Mhm.
legitimately would take a leap, that would at least make the Bulls a bit more dangerous in general.
And you kind of already answered this, so I'll rephrase it. But like, we can't expect him to get the on-ball
You're right.
opportunities that everyone's clamoring for with the way this roster is built. And so it seems like the most likely way for him to level up would be to make those quicker decisions when he's actually
Yeah.
getting the ball, where it's firing up the threes. Or even look, if you want to see more from him, you even kind of alluded to this, like he needs to put more pressure on the basket. His rim frequency has declined in every season that he's been in the league. And it's like you watch him, like when he puts the ball on the floor, yeah, he's not really comfortable finishing with both hands, but he seems comfortable dribbling with both hands. He wants to get into those baseline jumpers, or we've seen him kind of go into like I don't want to compare the two, but it is like Kawhi-esque, the aesthetics of like his turnaround jumper. Like if you're just catching and making quick decisions in those situations, that might be the pathway to him leveling up on the offensive end and increasing his scoring totals. It's just like make those
Yeah.
faster decisions And yeah, I
100%.
mean, like, yeah, get up more threes.
Yeah, just sometimes it's just like it's just not the process time just isn't quite there fast enough, and when you have like the record scratches and stuff like that, it hurts, and it hurts the overall offense when you have a good look and then you hesitate, you pass it up, and then just like the defense recovers, and then you're just kind of and then end up left with a tough shot at the end of the clock or something like that. I do think there are probably still are some opportunities to get him maybe some more on ball reps if he's playing with bench units. I know they like playing like DeMar with the bench, so like you're not gonna like take the ball out of DeMar's hands all the time and like have him go stand in the corner to give Patrick Williams a lot of reps, but like you can give him some. Like again, like his development is just like if this team is going to take a next step, like him being a lot better is going to be part of it. So like you might as well give him some chances. So like I would like to see them do at least a few more things with him and whatever with the pick and rolls, whether it's him handling the ball, whether it's him being a roll man, doing more than they do. That they do that sometimes. Just getting him more involved a bit in general. And Billy Donovan, there's been I think a decent amount of criticism that is fair about his offense and his schemes. Going back to the Oklahoma City Thunder days where he's kind of lets the stars do their thing, and we've kind of seen that with the Bulls at times where like it ends up being DeMar and Zach, and that's kind of it can turn in a lot of NBA teams in general. The stars, especially at the end of games, they're gonna get the ball, they're gonna ISO, and like Zach and DeMar are really good ISO players. You mentioned like half court offense, and like you look at like ISO like efficiency, like those guys are both really good, but like for an overall offense to succeed, they have to diversify a bit more to get more 3-pointers up, as we kind of talked about earlier. So like it'd be nice to add a bit more wrinkles, a little more diversity in their offense, and Patrick Williams would definitely ideally play a big part of that.
I have heard nothing about an extension for him. Would you expect him to get one? And what's like if you're the front office, like what's a number that you would be comfortable giving him right now?
Yeah, there really has been like nothing out there about it. I feel like I would be surprised if he gets one, just because like I think he probably thinks that he could have like a big season and like turn that into like a much bigger deal than the Bulls are willing to give him right now. I remember Keith Smith, when he did like an article at Spirac or whatever, and I think it was like predicting like the rookie year extensions. He had 5 years, 100 million, because now with those 50 years, you can doesn't have to be a max. It's not that designated rookie extension anymore. And like, and me and on the podcast, Cash Considerations, me and my co-host Ricky O'Donnell, we talked about that number. And like, I think I'd be fine with that. Like 5 years, 120 million a year with the cap going up for like a young player is still at 21, 22, who is pretty good. Like that's fine. Like 20 million a year for a guy who can play 3 and D for you like, for the next like throughout his prime.
14% of the cap.
Yeah, that's like I'd be totally fine with something like that. I feel like I don't know if the Bulls are actually offering something like that again. There's been like no reporting about an extension talks there. Like, and I just don't know if he'd be willing to take it. Maybe he would just to get that guaranteed money for 5 years. But I feel like he probably thinks like, and his agent's probably like, dude, if you come out and have like a really good season, help this team turn it around, you're going to get maybe 140, 150. Like if he has like a legit breakout season. So I feel like that it just seems like it's a hard, I just don't know if they're going to like find a match there between like what they're looking for right now. So I'd be kind of surprised if he got one.
He would be a player. I know we didn't see it this year in restricted free agency, but like he would be a player that I would think that teams would tie up their cap space for, even if he's basically the same player this season, to be like, well, there's untapped mystery box potential here.
Yep. Yeah, he's still just so young. I mean, when he came into when the Bulls drafted him, I think he was like the first or like maybe the second youngest guy in the draft. Again, I think he's 21, 22. So he's still you'd be getting him for the next whatever into his not even into his prime yet. Basically, is up until his prime years on this next contract. So like, yeah, and if like they could look at the Bulls and be like, this team was a mess. He just didn't get enough opportunity. We can untap that potential, or we could tap into that untapped potential and maybe find that player who becomes like an all-star guy. So I could absolutely see teams talking themselves into that, just because like kind of the situation he's been in.